He says, show me a player who gets out of the way to avoid a finesse and I will show you a winning player. In other words, can you spot other techniques to avoid taking a finesse? Fortunately, many of us will go after the finesse real quickly, but we fail to see other potential opportunities. So usually the declarer should, in a suit contract, count your losers from the declarer's hand's perspective. In no trump contract, you're going to count your sure tricks that you have, and then find ways to generate more tricks. In here, you're going to find ways to eliminate your losers in suit contracts. So when you decide to eliminate your losers or to generate extra tricks, there are certain techniques that we use. One of them is the promotion, which means you have king, queen, jack in a suit, you play the king, you knock out the ace, the queen, jack can be used either as winners or to discard losers if you have them. You can establish a suit, and you need to be aware of how suit usually break in order to set a long suit to discard some of your losers. You can take a finesse, which is an important thing. If you don't mind going to the classroom, Paula, if you want to talk, go to the classroom if you don't mind, because I can't concentrate with the background. Trumping in the dummy is another way of getting rid of your losers. So here's and discarding losers, of course, on some of these long losers. So how to avoid a finesse? You can do that. You can peek, which many of you have been guilty of. No, I'm kidding. You can peek, which works out fine sometimes. The other one is to do a 50% of the time you look like this, and 50% of the time you look like that. So when you take a finesse, you're basically taking a chance, a 50% chance. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Sometimes you don't even need to do it, but you're not really to pay attention to that. To be able to really understand the math behind it, you don't need to memorize all of that. But the key cards, when you have an 8-card fit, you have a 68% chance that it will break 3-2. So that's something to keep in mind. If you have a 9-card fit, they more than likely will break 50% of the time 3-1. If the outstanding cards are odd, the cards probably will tend to break more evenly. If they are even, they tend to break unevenly. Even if you had a 11-card fit, they probably will break 2-0 48% of the time, 1-1 50%. If you go here, a 10-card fit, she asked the question, should you take a finesse or not?
Oh, it's not y'all.
Doris?
Yes.
Do you mind taking this conversation in the other room because we can hear you?
Sorry.
Thank you. All right. So here's some examples that I want you. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a hand, and I want you at your table to discuss what to do. So the contract is 4 hearts. The lead is the deuce of diamonds. Here's the dummy. Here's your hand down here. And the question is what happened. Here's what happened. East won the deuce of diamond with the ace and led a diamond to the king over here. And then a diamond rough over here. The question is, after they rough here, they exit with trump, which is hearts. The question is, how do you plan the hand after you lose the first 3 tricks? The ace of diamond, king of diamond, and a diamond rough. So now they play a heart from here, you win it in your hand, and now need to decide how to make the contract. As you can see, you have still a spade loser, and you have a potential club loser. You see it? You have 2 kings that you need to find. The question is, how do you proceed from here? So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds at your table to discuss it, and then report back. So go ahead. I'm sorry?
How did the other people bid?
They didn't bid at all. There is no information from the auction. The question is, which finesse should you take first? The clubs. Why the clubs? So if you take the club finesse, play the jack, and if the king is here 50% of the time, and it wins, you're no longer needing the spade finesse because you can pitch a spade loser on the club. But if you take the spade finesse and it fails, you still need the club finesse. So take the finesse that will keep the other one unnecessary if it works. So that's really the key point in this. So the first tip then for you is, when two finesses are available, take the one that will make the other unnecessary. Make sense? All right, so don't go after the spade finesse right away. Go on the club first. Here's another example at 6 spades. Auction is not important. You're playing 6 spades. They lead the queen of hearts. And dummy comes down with this hand, and south has this hand. Here's what happened. Now, they lead the queen of hearts, and you win the ace of hearts. How can you avoid the diamond finesse? In other words, to make 6, you have a club loser, for sure, correct? And you have to find the king of diamonds. So the slam is on a finesse. You can take the finesse anytime you want to. The question is there another way for you to improve your odds of making the contract? So 10 seconds at your table, think about it. Any feedback? What should you do next? After winning the ace of hearts, what should you do? Assuming you're going to pull trump. Let's say that. You're going to pull trump. And now what's your play now to avoid the diamond finesse? Lead a club first, hoping that you finesse the ace if it's here. That gives you an additional potential. Because if it does work, and this guy flies up with the ace, then the king of clubs could be used to pitch a diamond, and you don't have to take the finesse. But let's say it fails. Then you take the diamond finesse. So 2 chances rather than 1. Do you see it? So before you start playing, you need to kind of have a plan of what would you do if the finesse doesn't work. You have 2 opportunities here, 2 finesses. Okay, so here's the tip on this one here. Improve your odds before taking a finesse by taking the other one first. Okay, here's another one. The contract is 4 hearts. They lead the ace of diamonds. And dummy comes down again. And here's what happened. They lead the ace of diamonds. They win the first 3 tricks. Ace of diamond, king of diamond, and a diamond ruff. So they won all the first 3 diamond tricks. You now have to make your contract. And they exit with a spade. So this guy here, ruff a diamond, and exit with a spade to your ace. The question is, how can you avoid a club finesse? Can you make the contract without a club finesse? 10 seconds at your table. All right? Now, any thoughts? Huh? I can't hear you. Hang on. One conversation. Say again, please.
Catch the second spade. Queen drops you. Gets on the
Very good. That's exactly right. I mean, he said, test the second spade. In other words, play the ace of spades and the king of spades. If the queen drops, you're in good shape. If it doesn't drop, take the finesse. But at least you tried. It's far-fetched, but it's actually not bad. 36% of the time, I believe the percentage is. Here you go, 37% chance that you drop the queen. It's a long shot in a way, but you still have the 50% chance of making a finesse. Very good. Ed wins a trip to undisclosed location. Scarborough, yes. Okay, that sounds good. All right, number 4. Contract is 4 hearts. They lead the king of diamonds. And dummy comes down right here. And here's what happened again, as you probably guessed it. They win the first diamond tricks. They always win the first 3 diamond tricks. And East win the 3rd diamond and switch to a small spade. So now you're under the gun. They lead the king. They win the first 3 diamond tricks. And this guy here, after winning the 3rd diamond trick, exit with a spade. You have the ace queen right here. The question is, what should you do? Should you take the finesse, or should you do something else? So think about that for 10 seconds. So think about it. This one is a little fun. Yes or not? No. Okay. So if you're not going to take the finesse, you must have another plan of making the contract. What's the plan? Set up the club suit. Okay, good. Now, to set up the club suit, you need to worry about what? Entries. Do you have enough entries to set up the club suit? You have 5 over here and 2 over here is 7. There's outstanding 6. They should break 36% of the time. Okay. So do I have enough entries to make my 4th or 5th here club first? Well, I have all of these entries that are the trump suit. So you use the queen, jack, and 10 of hearts as entries back and forth until you set up the club suit to pitch your loser, right? So that's something that you should try to see instead of automatically take the spade finesse. The spade finesse is only 50-50. The club situation here is actually better, more than likely, even if it breaks 4-2. Okay, good. So here we go. Here's your tip on this. And the tip is you set up a long suit for a discard. If it does not work, then take the finesse. Obviously, that doesn't apply here that much because they already put you under the gun. But let's say they did not come back a spade, they came back trump or something. Then that's different. Then you have to adjust accordingly. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. 4 hearts again. They lead the 4 of spades, and dummy comes down. And here's dummy, and the question for you is, should you finesse the queen of spades? So talk about it amongst yourselves. You're supposed to make 4 hearts on this hand. Should you take the spade finesse, or should you see another way of making the contract? Okay, you got 10 seconds. Why would you not take the finesse?
We would take it at this table.
But, I'm sorry, say again?
We would take it at this table.
You would take it at this table. I just want to make sure that you get a picture of this table over there, please, before we announce the answer. I think it's good, so we can, that's the table. You all want to take the finesse? Okay. Well, let me tell you about this. And this is great. I'm glad you were very forthcoming about this. Do you really need the finesse? No. You have 10 tricks. Count your winners if you like. 5, 3, and that's 8, and the 3 clubs. How many losers you have? Look at the losers if that's easier for you. Look at the losers. You have a spade loser. You have for sure 3 diamonds, right? 3. You could lose 3 diamonds, right? Oh, okay. So what's the problem? Who's going to bring the diamond suit for me? Yes.
The one with the king of spades.
So hang on. This is actually not as easy as you think it is. So the question is, if you start the diamond suit yourself, you may lose 3 diamonds. The whole key to the hand is to force them to open the diamond suit. So the queen of spade is your exit card. If you take the finesse, you're never going to make it. So what you should do is take the ace of spades, then take the trump out of their hand, cash your 3 clubs, and exit with the queen of spades. Whoever's going to win it is either give you a rough and a slough, or they start diamonds. If they start the diamonds, you get a diamond trick. I want you to take the after now picture of the same table. Just kidding. All right. Okay, so you see why it's got an end play. This is an end play. You end playing them to force them to open a suit that you like. So an equally divided suit between declare and dummy. Cash your winners and throw one of them with the card. Either one of them can win it. Whoever has the king, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't have any more spades here and no more spades there, trump in the dummy and trump here. No clubs and no clubs. There is no exit card for them. They have to play diamonds. Yes?
If you give up the king.
King of what?
The king of spades on the first pick.
No, I'm not going to give up the king.
Wait. If you do.
If you do.
What can they lead that will set the contract? There's nothing they can lead.
Anything back will set you. You do not want to touch the diamond suit. If the declare starts the diamond suit, you'll lose 3 diamonds.
It doesn't. What is
okay.
West going to play?
Okay.
That can set the contract?
I understand it's hard to. I mean, they already told you behind you twice. They told you they can lead clubs or spades. They answered the question behind you.
I don't understand why, looking at the hand.
You will take all of your hearts and all of your clubs
and you've lost the one spade, you'll take the ace of spades, and you will be stuck with, and at that point, 10 tricks will be played. You'll have jack third of diamonds in your hand, queen third of diamonds in your dummy. You have no way of playing that card combination not to lose 3 diamond tricks.
You got it?
There's a king
Okay.
behind your queen and an
Right.
ace behind your jack.
Right. You got ace 10 over here and the king 9 behind the queen. If you play the diamond suit as the, if you don't see it, you don't see it, it's okay. We were not going to publish your pictures, don't worry.
Henry,
Yeah.
the second hand you showed uses that same technique and get 100% lock on the contract. The second hand you showed.
Which second hand?
The
Here?
No. To go all the way back to the start, the second hand you showed, you can use that same technique. Lock.
I'm not so sure that's true, but I'll talk to you about it offline because I don't want to go back all these. Okay, moving on. No, the one you talked about, you thought it was an end play. It was not an end play. I heard you say that. No. Okay, here's the contract. 6, no trump. And the lead is the jack of spades. And you need to make 12 tricks. How can you improve your chances? Plan to play. So you need the jack of spades. You need 12 tricks from this hand. Talk about it amongst yourself. You got 20 seconds. So how can you make 12 tricks? You have 11 tricks for sure. You agree? Okay, you need an extra trick. The extra trick can come from 2 situations. Can you identify the both situations? Obviously, one of them is taking the club finesse. What's the other? The heart suit to break 3-3, right? Okay. So which one should I go for first for? The heart break or the finesse? The heart break. And the heart suit needs to break 3-3 for me, correct? Question is how to play the heart suit. Do you give up the first trick? Or do you give up the first trick and then play the ace king, and if it breaks, then you're good. If it does not break, then you take the finesse. Very good. Got it? Okay, so you can see that if you spot these other options, you actually multiply your chances of actually making the contract instead of saying, okay, I'm going to take the club finesse. Well, the club finesse can always be taken later on after you exhaust the possibility of a good break in your favor in heart suit. Okay, good. All right, I think I have a couple more. I'm not sure. Okay, 5 diamonds is the contract. The lead is the king of hearts. And dummy comes down. Here's your hand. You got 6 diamonds here. 4 in the dummy. They lead the king of hearts. And they won the ace and you roughed the second one. How do you now make the contract? So I'm going to put something in here for you. So East encouraged with the 7, and Declare plays the queen, and you're roughed. You are in here now after you're roughed. The question is, how can you make your contract? Can you avoid the club finesse? So talk about it at your table for 10 seconds, and I promise we're not going to take your picture this time. Any feedback? Any feedback? Anybody wants? Yes, Roz?
You could play the ace of diamonds and drop the king.
You peeked? You peeked in their hand? Is that what you did? All right. Okay, how about something beside that option? Something a little bit different than this option. So what are you going to do? Okay, so how many diamonds do we have? 2, 5, 10. All right. So it is possible. I could lose a diamond trick, right? But if I go ahead and I'm going to rough the second heart, there's no more hearts here, no more hearts there. I cash the ace of diamonds and leave, they break 2-1, which is more likely, then there's only one outstanding diamond trick. I strip the hand from the spade suit and exit with a trump. Whoever wins the king is going to have to play clubs for you. And you are good to go. So basically it's an end play also, instead of the finesse, but instead of getting an exit card in the suit, your exit card actually is the trump. Because you know the king of trump is outstanding. Right? So this is how it's 100% line of play. Rather than taking the finesse, which is only 50% line of play.
Not the trump split 3-0.
If the trump breaks 3-0, then you play the ace of diamond and the queen of diamonds.
Yeah, but then they can exit with a diamond.
No, but what?
They can exit
No,
with a diamond.
but
Diamonds, you're no worse off.
you know where it's off, but you strip the hand first
I'm just
before.
saying it's not 100%
Yeah,
play.
yeah. If it does break 3-0, then they will have an exit card. I would play my ace. It doesn't break. Then I'd strip the hand and play my queen, and they can exit with a diamond. Then at least I tried. You're so negative. Okay. All right. Just picking on him. Cashy winners and force the finesse. All right. Number 7. The contract is 6 hearts. And you did not want to be there, but your partner put you in there. You're really mad at your partner. They lead the queen of spades. And dummy comes down. The question is, how do you make your 6 heart? Can you avoid the diamond finesse? Okay, one at a time. What did you say, John, please?
Try to make your clubs good, assuming you can get...
Remember, they led the queen of spades. What are you going to do from now on? Pitch a diamond from the board? Yeah, so if you pitch a diamond and not rough it, then the king of spade is now a good card. Right? That's the only way. So there is no reason for you to rough. Pitch the loser, and that way you don't need the finesse anymore. Right? Okay, good. Next, I think I have one more. So discard a loser from dummy when dummy is voiding the suit and the lead promotes a winning card that you can use for a discard. That's what you have. But you have to do that at trick 1. So you really need to make a plan before you proceed to trick 1. Or you can make a mistake and then your partner will tell you, don't worry, you tried your best. Okay, 4 hearts, the lead is the 3 of spades. And dummy comes down, you're looking at it, and the question that you have, should you finesse the 3 of spades? So, 10 seconds at your table, 15 if you insist. Should you finesse the queen of spades?
No.
And why not? What is your plan to make the contract?
Protect the clubs.
Hmm?
How to get rid of clubs.
Any volunteers? I didn't hear. Did you say something? What? Do not take the finesse. And pitch a spade on the diamond and end up losing 3 clubs.
Right.
Okay, very good. So count your winners. You have 4 diamond tricks. You have 5 heart tricks and the ace of spades. You don't even need it at all. You have 10 tricks. So if you make the plan, you realize you don't need it. But if you didn't make the plan, then we're going to try to look at ways to do something that we really don't need to do. So you have 10 tricks, if you counted your tricks. Okay, last one, I believe. This is called an summary then. Remember to combine your chances. If you have 2 finesses to take the one that keeps the other one. If it works, keep the other one obsolete, or keeps you at least alive. Establish a long suit, if you can, knowing the probability of how suit breaks. That will give you an opportunity to decide if you can establish a suit looking for, obviously, entries back and forth. You have to have the right number of entries in order to do that. Number 3 is to choices of 2 finesse. I already mentioned that. With an equally divided suit between declarer and the dummy, you can always strip the hand and exit with the card with a throw-in play to force them either to give you a rough and a slough or to force them to lead a suit that if you lead it yourself, you cannot make the tricks that you need in the suit. Like the queen third, opposite jack third, that's what we talked about. Last one, I think here, discard a low from dummy if you have a void, which everybody talked about. Okay, we're done.